My precious child, I want you to hear this. Do not turn away, for this moment was set aside specifically for you. It was not released earlier, and it did not find you by chance. It is happening as you listen, a quiet unfolding intended only for your heart. I know you have felt the world rushing past you, a blur of noise and demands, but I have pulled you into this stillness for a reason. Do not let this moment drift past you, for there is a weight you have been carrying in the dark that I have seen, and I have not forgotten you. I see you sitting there in the quiet places where no one else goes. I see you in the silence of your room, or in those long, lonely drives where the only sound is the hum of the road and the heavy beating of your own heart. I know the silence has been hurting you. I know it hasn't been a peaceful quiet. It has been a heavy one. It is the kind of silence that feels like a wall, thick, cold, and unyielding. It is the silence of a prayer that feels like it hit the ceiling and fell back to the floor. It is the silence of a house that feels too empty, or a life that feels like it's been placed on a shelf while everyone else is moving forward. I see you sitting in that silence, waiting for a word, waiting for a sign, waiting for anything that tells you your life still matters. You have been so patient, my child. You have shown up day after day, whispering into the void, hoping that this time something would break. I know how it feels when the quiet starts to feel like a rejection. I know how the mind begins to spin its own stories when I am silent. Stories that I am angry, or that I have turned away, or that you have somehow failed to be enough to earn my response. But listen to me carefully, my beloved. I was there. I was there in every second of that silence. I was there when you closed your eyes and felt the sting of tears you refused to let fall. I was there when you looked at the clock and realized another day had passed, without the breakthrough you were promised. I have not been absent. The silence has not been empty. It has been full of me, even when you could not feel it. I remember the weight of the garden where the air was thick with a silence that felt like it could crush the soul. I remember the feeling of looking toward a heaven that seemed made of brass. I know what it is to feel that the Father has moved into a room where you cannot follow. You recognize yourself in this, don't you? You are the one who has stayed. You are the one who has continued to listen, even when the only thing you heard was the echo of your own longing. You have been carrying this quiet weight without relief, without a hand on your shoulder to tell you it's almost over. I see the exhaustion in your spirit, the way you have leaned against the door of my mercy, hoping it would swing open. You feel forgotten, but you are the very one I am looking at right now. Your waiting has been noticed. Every sigh you thought was lost to the wind was caught in my hand. Every moment you sat in the dark, wondering if you were invisible, I was standing right beside you, tracing the lines of your face, knowing every thought before you even formed it. The silence is not a sign that I am gone. It is the space I have cleared so that when I finally speak, your soul will be ready to hear nothing but me. You have been listening for a thunderclap, but I have been in the breath beside you. You have been looking for a fire, but I have been the coolness in the shadow where you have hidden. I know the quiet hurts. I know it feels like a wound that won't heal, but stay here. Do not run back into the noise just to escape the ache of the weight. There is a reason your attention was caught today. There is a reason this moment found you exactly when the silence felt the heaviest. I am acknowledging the weight you carry because I want you to know it is a shared weight. You are not sitting in this room alone. You are not waiting in this season by yourself. I have seen the way you look at others, the way you see their lives moving in a rhythm of answers and music, while yours feels like a long, dissonant pause. I know the sting of feeling like the only one left behind in the quiet. I see the way you try to be strong, the way you try to tell yourself that it's okay while your heart is breaking under the pressure of the not yet. I see the bravery in your stillness. It takes more courage to sit in the silence than it does to run into the battle. It takes a deeper faith to wait in the dark than it does to dance in the light. I know the silence is hurting you, my child. I know it feels like a desert where the water has run dry. But even in the desert, I was the pillar of cloud that gave them shade. Even in the wilderness, I was the manna that fell when no one was looking. I have seen your heart in the hush, and I have found it beautiful, even in its brokenness, even in its doubt, especially in its doubt. You have been wondering how I could know this about you. You have been wondering if anyone understands the specific texture of your loneliness. I do. I have carried the pain of every silent hour you have endured. I have counted every minute you spent wondering if you were still mine. Stay with this. Do not let the world pull you back yet. There is more I need you to understand of hours you have spent in the shadow, because I have been counting the cost of your faithfulness, and I have seen how you stayed when it would have been easier to leave. Most would have walked away by now, my beloved. Most would have filled the void with their own noise, or gone searching for a different voice when mine seemed to fall silent. But you didn't. You stayed in the room. You stayed in the prayer. You stayed in the expectation, even when that expectation began to feel like a bruise. I want you to know that I see the endurance that no one else applauded. The world celebrates the loud victories and the sudden breakthroughs, but I am moved by the quiet, stubborn love of a child who remains in the dark just because they know I am there. I remember those who followed me into the desolate places, far from the cities and the comforts of home. They didn't come for the miracles every time. Sometimes they just came to be near me, even when the sun was hot and the food was gone. I saw their weariness then, and I see yours now. There is a sacredness in the way you have chosen to wait. It is not a passive thing, though it feels like you are doing nothing. To stay when the heart is tired is the most active work of faith you will ever do. It is a choice you make with every breath to not turn your back on the one who hasn't spoken yet. I want you to hear me clearly, my child. Your presence here in this quiet space we are sharing right now is a sign. It is a sign that your heart still recognizes mine. I see you, and I am grateful for you. I am grateful that you chose to be here with me in this moment. If you feel that pull in your heart, the one that tells you that you are finally being seen, know that others are sitting in this same silence with us. If this resonates within your soul, you may want to leave a small mark of your presence here, perhaps a word in the comments or a simple subscribe, just so we know we are gathered in this stillness together. And for those who feel led to help keep this quiet sanctuary open for others who are wandering in the dark, some have used the super thanks as a way to reach the weary. But do not feel any rush, my beloved. This is just a whisper between us, a way of acknowledging that we are here and that we are choosing to stay. I know there were nights when you were so close to giving up. I saw you reach for the door. I saw you prepare your heart to stop hoping, because hoping hurts more than letting go. And yet, you turned back. You took another breath and you stayed. You have been faithful in the not knowing. You have been loyal to a presence you could not feel and a promise you could not see. I was there during those nights. I saw the way you wrestled with the silence, and I saw the way you eventually surrendered to it, not out of defeat, but out of a deep, quiet trust that I had not left the room. You have been waiting for me to move, but I have been moved by you. Your endurance is a fragrance to me. It is a testimony that speaks louder than any sermon. You didn't need a sign to keep loving me. You only needed to know that I am who I say I am. There is a strength in you that you haven't recognized yet. It's not the strength of a warrior, but the strength of a pillar, something that stands firm while the storm rages around it. You think you are weak because you are tired, but I see a heart that has refused to break. You think you are failing because you have no answers, but I see a child who has mastered the art of being still. Stay here with me. Don't rush into the next thing. This moment of recognition is yours. It is my gift to you for all the times you sat in the quiet and felt like you were shouting into an empty canyon. The canyon was never empty. I was at the bottom, catching every word. I was in the echo, holding the vibration of your voice against my chest. I know the waiting has taken something from you. I know it has carved lines of fatigue into your spirit that weren't there before. I know that beneath this choice to stay, there is a deep, aching exhaustion that has begun to settle into your very bones. And I know the waiting has tired your soul in ways that sleep cannot fix. It is a heavy weariness, my child, the kind that comes from hoping against hope, from stretching your heart so thin across the days that you wonder if it will ever snap. I see the fatigue that settles in when you realize you have to wake up and face the same silence all over again. I know how it feels to have your faith become a weight instead of a wing. You have been carrying the burden of believing while the evidence of your life seems to argue against you. I have watched you try to keep a brave face, try to speak the right words, all while your inner spirit is whispering, "How much longer?" I am not offended by your exhaustion. I am not disappointed that your arms are tired from holding up a shield that feels heavier every hour. I remember the road to the hill, where the wood was too heavy for a body already broken by the night. I remember the moment where the knees buckle, and the dust of the earth is the only thing that meets you. I know the feeling of being poured out like water with nothing left to give and no reassurance that the sacrifice is being seen. I was there then, and I am here now, watching the way you have poured yourself out in this season of waiting. You have been trying to stay strong for me, but I want you to know that I see the cost. I see the toll it takes to keep your heart open when everything around you feels closed. There is a specific kind of pain in hoping for a promise that seems to have no date on the calendar. It drains the color from the world. It makes the prayers feel like a chore and the scriptures feel like echoes from a distant land that you no longer inhabit. I see the way you look at the sunset and wonder if the morning will bring anything different, or if it will just be another day of the same quiet endurance. You feel as though you are fading, as though the you who started this journey with so much fire has been slowly replaced by a you who is simply trying to survive the next 10 minutes. I know that weariness. I know the drain of the unanswered why. But listen to me, my precious one. I am not asking you to muster up more strength. I am not looking for you to find a second wind or to pretend that you aren't tired. I am acknowledging the ache because I want you to know that I am the one holding the other end of the rope. You think you are the only thing keeping your life together, but it is my hand beneath yours. You think your soul is tired because you are failing, but it is tired because you have been doing something difficult. You have been trusting me in the dark. It is okay to be tired. It is okay to tell me that your soul is weary. I remember the boat in the middle of the storm, where the waves were high and the hearts of my friends were failing them for fear. They thought I didn't care because I was resting, but I was simply at peace because I knew the ending. I know you feel like the storm has been going on for too long, and you are tired of rowing against the wind. I see the quiet tears you shed when you think you should be further along in your faith. I see the way you compare your inner exhaustion to the outer energy of everyone else. Do not do that to yourself, my child. Your fatigue is a testament to how much you have given. Your weariness is a proof of how long you have stood your ground. I know that your heart feels like a garden that hasn't seen rain in years. The ground is cracked, the leaves are curled, and you are just waiting for one drop of reassurance. I see the thirst in you. I see the way you are looking for a sign, for a whisper, for anything that says the waiting is not for nothing. Stay in this moment with me. Let the tiredness be there. You don't have to hide it from me. You don't have to fix it before you come to me. I am the one who gives rest to the heavy laden, but that rest often begins with me simply sitting with you in the middle of the mess, acknowledging that the burden is indeed heavy. I know that the silence is loud and the waiting is long and your soul is very, very tired. I know you feel as though you are at the end of your own strength, and you are wondering what happens when that strength finally runs out. But I want you to know that you don't have to perform to be held. You have been carrying a hidden fear that if you stop trying so hard, if you stop pushing, stop praying with such intensity, or stop trying to prove your faith, that I will let you fall. You feel as though you must maintain a certain posture of spiritual strength to keep me close, but that is not how my love works. I remember the one who was lowered through the roof, unable to even walk to me on his own. He didn't say a word. He didn't perform a ritual. He just lay there in his brokenness, and I saw his heart. I saw the weight he couldn't carry. I want you to feel that same permission to just be. You don't have to earn my presence with your endurance. You don't have to convince me to stay by showing me how much you can handle. I see the effort you put into your prayers, trying to find the right words to move my heart, but I was already moved by the first tear you shed in the dark. I was already there before you even opened your mouth. You can let go of the need to be the strong one for a while. You can be the one who is carried. You can be the one who has nothing left but a quiet, trembling hope. This space we are in right now, this stillness, it is not a test. It is a sanctuary. I see that some of you recognize this resting place as something rare, a moment where the pressure finally lifts. I am so aware of those who have felt a stirring in their spirit to support this quiet corner of the world. I see those who have used the super thanks as a way of saying, I am being held here. It is a beautiful thing when my children recognize themselves in each other's stories and choose to help this message reach the next weary soul. I see that kindness and I hold it close, just as I am holding you. You don't have to be perfect to be precious to me. You don't have to have great faith to be near my heart. Even faith as small as a grain of mustard seed is enough for me to move mountains on your behalf. But right now, I am not asking you to move mountains. I am asking you to let me be your mountain. Let me be the one who stays firm while you rest against me. I know you feel as though you have to keep it all together, for your family, for your work, for your friends. But with me, you can fall apart. You can be uncertain. You can admit that you are afraid. I am not looking for a performance of holiness. I am looking for the honesty of your soul. I remember the woman who only wanted to touch the hem of my garment, hiding in the crowd, feeling unworthy to even speak. She thought she had to take what she needed in secret, but I stopped everything just to call her daughter. I wanted her to know she didn't have to hide her need to be whole. You are my child, not my employee. You are my beloved, not a project to be finished. The staying I am asking of you is not a work of the will. It is a rest of the heart. It is the moment where you finally realize that even if you stopped everything, even if you couldn't find the strength to pray another word, I would still be right here, breathing with you, watching over you, loving you with a love that has no end. I know you have felt the pressure to see the blessing or to find the lesson in your pain, but sometimes there is no lesson yet. There is only the being held. There is only the warmth of my hand on your head while you wait for the storm to pass. You are safe here. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to be unsure. I am not going anywhere, my child. I have seen the way you have tried to be so much for everyone else, and I am here to tell you that you are enough for me, just as you are, sitting in the quiet with nothing but your weariness to offer, because I need you to understand that my silence has not been absence. I know it feels that way, that when the heavens are quiet, you feel the chill of a room you think is empty. but I have never been more present than in the moments when you felt most alone. I have been in the very fabric of the silence you are so afraid of. I do not always speak in the way you expect, but that does not mean I am not moving. I remember the 3 days when the world went dark and the stone was rolled across the tomb. To those who loved me, it looked like the end. It looked like the silence of a finished story. They wept because they thought the quiet meant I had failed them, or that the darkness had won. They did not know that in the deepest part of that silence, I was doing the work that would change everything. I was moving in the depths where no eye could see, preparing a victory they couldn't yet imagine. I am doing the same in your silence, my child. I am not explaining the purpose to you yet, and I am not giving you the timeline you crave, because I want you to find me in the middle of the wait, not just at the end of it. If I gave you all the answers right now, you would fall in love with the answers. I want you to fall in love with me. I want you to know the sound of my breathing in the dark. I want you to realize that even when I am not saying a word, I am still holding the world together, and I am still holding you. You have felt as though I have pulled back, as though I have withdrawn my hand, but I have actually drawn you closer into the shadow of my wings. It is quiet there. It is still. The silence is not a wall between us. It is a veil that I have drawn around us so that the world cannot distract you from the fact that I am right here. I know the silence hurts, but let it be a hurt that draws you deeper into my chest. You don't need to know why things happened the way they did. You don't need to know when the season will change. Those things are in my hands, and my hands are good. What you need to know is that I am not a God who stands at a distance. I am the one who wept at the grave of a friend, even though I knew I was about to call him out. I felt the weight of the grief in that moment, and I feel the weight of your waiting now. My silence is not a lack of concern. It is a profound intimacy. It is the quiet of two people who know each other so well, they no longer need to fill the air with words. I have been watching you search for me in the noise, in the books, in the opinions of others, but I have been right here in the quiet ache of your own heart. I have been the steady rhythm of your pulse. I have been the air in your lungs when you felt like you couldn't take another breath. I have not missed a single moment of your life. The silence still hurts, I know. I am not telling you to pretend it doesn't, but I am asking you to see it differently. Do not look at the quiet as a desert. Look at it as a womb. Something is forming in this stillness. Something is being knit together in the dark that could never grow in the bright, busy light of day. You are being changed, even if you cannot feel it. Your soul is deepening. Your roots are reaching down past the surface of things, searching for the hidden springs that only flow in the quiet. I am here. I am not leaving. I am not frustrated with your questions, and I am not weary of your long, silent stares into the night. I am simply here, existing in the space beside you, waiting for you to realize that my presence is enough, even without the answers. You have been waiting for me to break the silence, but I am inviting you to enter into it with me, to trust that the one who made the stars knows exactly how to guide your heart through the dark. I know you are still looking for a sign, still hoping for a whisper that confirms you are on the right path. Stay with me a little longer. Let the silence be what it is, a holy, heavy thing that we are carrying together. You are not alone in the quiet. You are not forgotten in the hush, and I want you to stay just a little longer, for I am still here with you. The world is always so eager to move on, to find the next noise, to solve the next problem, but I am not in a hurry to leave this moment. I know you feel the pressure to wrap this up, to find a reason for the pain, or to walk away with a solution in your hand, but I am asking you to just remain. There is no need to rush toward the ending of this silence. I remember the evenings by the sea, when the sun would dip below the horizon and the disciples would grow quiet, exhausted from the day. We would just sit there, the sound of the water against the boat being the only thing between us. Nothing was being fixed in those moments. No lessons were being taught. We were simply being together. That is what this is. I am not rushing you toward a breakthrough. I am not forcing you to feel better before you are ready. I am simply staying. I know the weight of the silence has been heavy. I know your soul has been tired, and I know you have felt the need to perform just to feel close to me. But look at where we are. The silence is still here, yet you are still held. The waiting has not ended, yet you are not alone. Let those truths settle into the deep places of your heart, not as answers to your why, but as a soft blanket for your how. You do not have to know the way forward to be safe in my company. I see the way your spirit is beginning to breathe again, not because the circumstances have changed, but because you have realized that I haven't left the room. You have carried so much, my beloved. You have endured the quiet. You have stayed when it was hard, and you have allowed yourself to be seen in your weariness. All of it matters to me. Every moment of it was an altar you built in the wilderness. I am so grateful that you stayed here with me. It means more to me than I can say that you would set aside this time to just listen, to just exist in my presence without demanding a sign. It is a beautiful thing to be known by you. For those of you who feel a quiet stirring to help this space remain a sanctuary for others, I see your heart, and I am grateful for the way some have used the super thanks to keep these words reaching the weary. I would love to hear what is resting on your heart now. If you feel led, leave a comment and tell me what you are carrying or what you felt in the quiet today. It is a way for us to witness one another in the stillness. And if you wish to remain a part of this quiet fold, you are always welcome to subscribe or join us more closely in membership. But for now, just stay in this peace. Let the feeling of being held carry you into the rest of your day. You don't have to carry the silence by yourself anymore. I am here. I have always been here, and I am not going anywhere. Peace be with you, my child. You are loved. You are seen. You are home.